Today, we are going to an apiary of 12 colonies to do the last treatment of the season against Varroa. We will do the treatment with oxalic acid by sublimation using the Varrox vaporizer. But first of all, we want to briefly look back at the season which is coming to an end today. To give us a little context, overall, it was a very good season. The bees have been very productive, the colonies are strong. Initially, there were 12 overwintered colonies here. They had all spent the winter well. We did our Varroa screenings at the beginning of May using the alcohol wash method, and all our results were very low or null in several hives. We did 2 flash treatments with formic acid in May. These treatments were spaced 7 days apart. At the end of July, we extracted the delicious summer honey. Then, did a 14-day treatment of Formic Pro by placing 2 strips in each colony. At the end of August, we carried out our Varroa screenings in each colony. This time we used the natural fall method with sticky board over 3 days. You now see the results on the screen. In general, infestation levels are quite low, except in 2 colonies, Hive B and Hive F. Hive F has been by far our strongest all season. At the beginning of September, we harvested our fall honey. Following this, all colonies were treated with 1 strip of Thymovar cut in half for 4 weeks. And feeding was done simultaneously with 2-for-1 syrup using wooden surface feeders. All of this brings us to today. We are at the end of October. We will wrap our colonies in a few days. But first, we want to eliminate as many Varroa mites as possible before winter. This is why we do a treatment with oxalic acid using the sublimation method. As usual, before starting, we remind you to always read the specific recommendations of the products you use. Before starting the demonstration, here are some general notes on this treatment. First of all, it is a treatment that must be done in the absence of brood. Oxalic acid will attack Varroa mites on bees, so it is much more effective if there is no or very little brood in the colony. The ideal temperature for treatment is between 5 and 8 Celsius, usually at the beginning of November for the Quebec region, just before wrapping the colonies or entering them inside for winter. According to the recommendations of the manufacturer of Varrox, we use 1 gram to treat 1 Langstroth box and 2 grams to treat 2 Langstroth or 1 Dadan box. You can use the small measuring spoon provided. 1 measurement corresponds to 1 gram. In some studies, an effectiveness of almost 96% is reported, so it makes an ideal treatment to do just before wintering. This is considered a late season treatment, but could still be done very early in the spring when there is little brood. Now on the screen, you see the list of necessary equipment. We will now see each item on this list in detail. You obviously need your oxalic acid dihydrate, which often comes in a little plastic jar like this, your Varrox vaporizer, and the small measuring spoon that is provided in the packaging. You will also need a small towel. If you have several hives to treat, we recommend that you have 3 of them. An adhesive tape that can be used to plug small holes in the hive, a bucket filled of water, protective equipment, so your gloves, your protective glasses. We recommend wearing long sleeve clothing at all times. You will also need a respiratory protection mask with cartridges for organic acid vapors. You will need a 12-volt battery to plug in the Varox. And finally, have a timer. The one on your cell phone may do the trick just fine. You now see on the screen the list of 9 easy steps to do your oxalic acid treatment by sublimation. We will go now into more detail for each step. The first step is to seal the hive. If you use a screen bottom board, you put the drawer back in place. For any small holes that remain, you can use adhesive tape to patch them up like this. Then you have to put on your protective gear, so the protective gloves, your breathing mask, your safety glasses, and long sleeve cloths. Thereafter, the oxalic acid must be measured and placed in the spoon of the Varox. In our case, we treat a single Langstroth hive. We are going to put a spoon which corresponds to 1 gram of oxalic acid. Then, the Varox must be placed in the hive by sliding it through the main opening. And now you have to seal the entrance with a small, slightly wet towel. Place it like this. Then the Varox must be connected to a 12-volt battery for exactly 2 minutes and 30 seconds. Now we can use our timer. When our 2.5 minutes is over, we unplug the Varox and we leave it like this for another 2 minutes. When this 2 minutes is over, you have to take the Varox out of the hive and close the entrance with towel for another 10 minutes. And then you can cool the Varox spoon by immersing it in the water. This way it allows us to repeat the process for the other colonies. Even if this technique may seem a little bit invasive at first, the reality is that bees tolerate it very well. In addition, it is effective in getting rid of varroa mites on bees just before winter. By respecting the steps of the treatment, we achieve very good results. Note that there are faster tools than Varox for professionals who have several hives to treat. We hope that you enjoyed the video. Feel free to like the video and share it. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and see you soon!